Welcome to Security with Spirits. I'm your host, Jason, and I'm joined at the bar by
Ben,
Jonathan,
and Tony. We'll tell you what to drink while we tell you about why we drink.
All right, everybody. So what are we drinking tonight?
well, I have started on my next of the classic malts. I'm going with Dalwhinnie 15 year, and I'm drinking it neat.
I picked up a new bottle of S.E. Callahan's Blood Orange and Honey whiskey, something distilled in Northeast Tennessee, and it's a local distillery that's working on distributing more globally. This is just a great bottle. It's very smooth, just got a nice little sweet taste. I mean, good to drink on the rocks, and that's how I'm having it tonight.
Sounds great. Well, I got jealous of all of Tony's amazing drinks, so I decided since we're getting close to Halloween, I would go with a themed drink. So I've done my own twist on a Bloody Mary, but this one is just bourbon and ice cubes in a glass.
Wait, this says embalming fluid.
This episode's signature cocktail is the Oak Barrel Sales Punch. It's a whiskey, peach brandy, orange liqueur, topped with some warm apple cider. I'm not going to recommend a particular brand of whiskey, but I'm going to encourage you to get something in a very high proof, say in the 101 range, to really take the pain away from listening to vendors. So, sip on a sales punch during a sales pitch that could have been an email. Get the recipe and more on our website, oakbarrelsecurity.com. Well, as soon as we fix our certificate issue. Because as you know, if the issue isn't DNS, it's probably a certificate.
I like that. It's a mix for your bottle and bond bottles you got lying around.
This one I've been drinking all evening. This is really good.
Nice.
Can't wait to try it. Since it is Halloween, our topic for this series is based around the tricks and treats that salespeople use to scare us into buying their products. Before we begin, I want to mention that we are not picking on any particular company. We're focusing on those nasty sales tactics that people use to get their foot in the door and how to properly address them. We'll try to keep it informative and entertaining, but it's late and we're drinking, so no promises. So this is going to be the first in the series of addressing sales tactics, and today we're going to focus on the dreaded icebreaker call. So, guys, what's your thoughts?
The biggest pet peeve I have regarding an icebreaker call is they always seem to want to get to know us a little more than I really want to get to know them. And it usually involves many questions about, our experience, where we live, things like that. And maybe I'm just paranoid, but I really don't feel like sharing any of that information. I really don't want to know that information from them. And I imagine this stems from sales tactics where they try to establish that personal connection, because that's one of the things in sales is you want that person to think you're your friend or you know each other, and because it makes it easier for you to get money out of them. But I would like to see intro calls be a little more about the product and why we're here and less time wasted talking about where we live, where we work, things like that.
Yeah, because they ask you those questions and they try to turn it around and kind of help sell it that way. But it's like they really didn't hear you.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't listened to. It just went right over.
Yeah, and I've always thought that, if you wanted to really pen test the company, just pose as a salesperson, and get on a call like that, and you get all kinds of personal information. You find out all about their infrastructure.
All the bad stuff, too, with some people.
That's true. Yeah, they're always going to complain about this is terrible, this doesn't work, that doesn't work.
We've had this exposed. This was found out in a recent test. We don't know how we're going to fix it.
Yep.
A lot of that I'm not a fan of.
Yeah, and I almost think that some of that, whenever they're trying to, and you're right, they try to make that personal connection, but I don't really want them to sell, I don't want them to know what we want and sell us the product that we want. I want them to sell their product to us and see if it's a fit. I don't want it catered or anything like that. I just want to hear what you truly have to offer, what your strengths and they probably won't tell weaknesses, but what the strengths in the product are, and see if it's a fit for our company or organization, whatever.
Yeah, and to Ben's point, if you cut out all of that like introductory fluff, you would have a lot more time to talk about your product.
Yeah, 30 minutes of introduction, 10 minutes of your product. And I'll take all your questions back to the engineering team and we'll get back to you.
That's my big pet peeve. Not having all the right technical people on the call. If they say, I'll have to check with so-and-so, just let me talk to so-and-so.
Yep.
Yeah. Why aren't they here?
Yeah.
And it's weird because I think most sales, and I've learned everything I know about sales from Mad Men and TVs and movies and stuff like that. But that elevator pitch is supposed to be the thing that really gets them. And it's shocking to see how many of these intro calls are just all fluff and terrible.
Yeah, I think they're applying these sales tactics for consumerist products to things that don't apply and really on a technical field. Like a lot of technical people, they have a problem. They're looking for a solution to that problem, and they're focused on what they need to fix this. They don't need to hear these company buzzwords and jargon and, oh, this product can do so much more for you kind of things. They're like, well, does it actually solve my problem?
And maybe this is a little bit to do with the transition to more people doing remote work and more of these calls happening remote, as opposed to like getting together at a restaurant and glad handing and yapping a little bit before getting down to business. But like when you've got a 30-minute Zoom call to get information about this vendor, like get down to business.
Yeah. I dread seeing sales calls on my schedule because I know they're set up for an hour and they're going to want to use every bit of that hour not talking about their product.
Yeah.
And scheduling the next call. Right? It's never just one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
Well, when else are you free? Well, I'm free now if you'll just tell me what I need to know.
Yeah, the first 15 minutes of that sales call is making sure we're all friends and we know each other. And the second half is a 15-slide PowerPoint hyping up the company of how awesome they are. And I don't care.
And that right there, again, just, direct me to the PowerPoint on your website and I'll check it out later if I'm really interested.
Yep.
I've noticed vendors not keeping as much content on their website.
Oh, yeah.
Especially like technical stuff, specifications. It's like either you got to have a login to their website. No, just share that up front. Let me know if it's going to work for the environment I'm working in.
And I think complexity like that, I think they think that it creates a phone call. And then, once you have that, then you got them on the line. You got them on the hook.
Yep.
And you have to give them your personal information to get access to their information.
Yeah.
I'm not shy to shut down a sales vendor.
It's the same way with pricing, right? How hard would it be to just have your pricing information on your website available?
Yeah.
Well, when you've seen what a vendor presents to you and then a month later can suddenly drop the price down to, I could see why they don't put it on their website.
Yeah. Yeah. Sales is a whole nother thing. That's another podcast in this series. 'Cause man, the used car salesman from like the 80s. Oh, it's entered the tech world.
Which is funny because, right, the car dealerships are getting away from that, doing more online and upfront pricing because people are sick of it.
Right. All right, fellas. Well, we've done a lot of complaining about vendors and everything. Let's fix this. Let's see what could be our ideas or maybe even examples that we've seen that actually work. Nothing?
I'm going to say, like, that silence is intentional because we're having to think really hard.
Yeah.
The perfect intro call, in my opinion, the call itself, if it's strictly introduction call and there's no sales pitch going on, should not be more than 15 minutes. And everyone should jump in. We can introduce our names. We can talk about why we looked at their product. But there shouldn't be any of this exchange of personal information or anything outside of we're looking for a solution to this problem.
One of the things that I always look at whenever I'm purchasing a product, it's usually big purchases. I want to enter a relationship with this vendor. However, I think the intro call is not the place. I think once we know that the product works and it's something there, then we start, working with the vendor. We start seeing if there's somebody that I can count on that I can, if I have issues, I can call and get some help and everything.
Wait till we have an account rep before we start to work on our relationship.
Right. But I kind of do, I get what you're saying on that. You mentioned, maybe in this phase, we're simply looking for something that works. I don't want to have a heart to heart with anybody. I just want the easy button. I just want the product that fits the problem I'm having.
We don't have to psychoanalyze and.
Do we need to make a speed dating app for vendors?
Ooh.
I don't like it.
I love that.
Vendor, VENDR.
That's kind of where I like the idea of like the RFP, where you could put out like, we're looking for something in this area, and then people throw out what they're willing to price and what they can do, but then you're having to post a lot of information that's too sensitive to give to everybody.
True.
Yeah, it'd be hard to say publicly, we need a spam filtering system, because that tells everybody they don't have a good spam filtering system. Yeah. Annihilate.
We're running this version of Exchange, and it's located here. We got this many databases, this many users.
But I mean, that leads into another suggestion, is like upfront pricing. I shouldn't have to disclose all of my corporate information to you to get a quote. You're putting that into a spreadsheet to generate the price. Just give me the spreadsheet.
Yeah, like they could say, okay, we do this. This is what our product does, and this is what we charge, and this is the charging unit, like per seat, per user, et cetera, and then they give you that information. Then you can say, okay, we'll take this. We'll see if your solutions could possibly meet our needs. Bye. You could get 4 vendors done in an hour if they just did it like that, and you could decide and make the decision based on the data you have. You don't have to pry through and have multiple scheduled calls.
Yeah, and it saves everybody time on both sides, because if you come back with an outrageous quote, we're done.
Yeah.
Price is one of the major determining factors. So why not just get that out of the way first?
Yeah, price should be required before you have a second call.
Yeah.
Love that.
And a lot of times, like when I'm looking at different products, it's budget season and I'm trying to put numbers together. I don't want to have those long conversations. I'm just trying to get stuff like figured out just to hand up and hope that it gets improved. I just want prices. So I'm going to take, I would love that. I would love if all the prices were available up front, because I'm going to take 3 or 5 vendors or whatever, and I'm going to take the average of all of those, and that's my budget. Because I know they're going to come back and say, well, it's an end of quarter special, so we can do 45% off. Like, that's just give me a price. I just want to buy something. We're back to the used car salesman thing.
And I don't want to buy your product based on the coupons you can give me.
Yeah. So now we're going to have to make a speed dating app and a car buying, like online car buying app. I just want to pay this price. I don't want to haggle. So one of the examples that I can think of, not having those, because I kind of cut through all of that now. One of the things that I do is I'm really upfront and direct with any of the salespeople I talk to. I don't have a lot of time to sit in their presentations. I just need these things and let's move on. Everybody's heard me chatter on and on about the hurricane we had. I had a potential vendor, like somebody that we were looking at, reach out to me. They're like, I know you're in this area. I know things are happening. This is everything I can offer you, besides they wished me well through all of it. Good luck to myself, the company, and all that kind of stuff. They said, here's some things we can offer you. We can offer you like this support level at here for anything you need. We can offer, as soon as everything clears up, we can bring down stuff if you need food and supplies and stuff like that for you and your team. And they were just amazing. And we had not yet even signed a contract. We had not done any of that. So then you get the opposite of that, where I'm literally hunkered down while the hurricane is blowing over, and I'm checking my email on my phone, trying to keep lines of communication open. A vendor's like, hey, can we schedule a call for tomorrow at 8 a.m.? We need to get this deal done before the, whatever end of quarter or whatever deadline that they had to meet. And I was like, I'm sorry. I don't know when I'm going to be free because we're in a hurricane right now. It's going to have to wait. Thinking their reply back is, oh my goodness, I didn't know, like whatever. Their reply back was, get with us whenever you're the first chance you're available. And that's the last I've worked with them. They're done.
Well, I know I'm talking a lot like I don't want to be personal with you, but if we're already in business, we do need to have that partnership.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's our nugget of wisdom for our vendor friends. Be aware of the real life situation your customers are in.
And be nice. I know we've had other instances where and I know of another actually true life example where we were looking for a product to replace another failing product that we had in play. And we had a call. We started the call up. Alerts went off and everything. We had to go into action because this other product that we're trying to replace is failing. And that vendor helped us support that product before the actual vendor of the product that was failing got support in. I mean, that's amazing. And to me, that sells it. They're on our side and they want to help us out.
Shows you their dedication up front, that's their already level of customer service that they're willing to offer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that goes back to like show, don't tell. Like
exactly.
Yep. All right. Well, we don't have any patching to do because we're absolute rock stars and we just killed it on the last one.
Boom.
So thanks for listening to us rant a little bit. Hope you got a little bit of wisdom out of it. I hope you keep coming back because the rest of this series is going to get really interesting, really awesome. Thanks for spending some time with us. I'm Jason.
And this is Ben.
Jonathan.
and Tony.
Talk to you later, everybody.
Bye.
He can't see the bottle. He's so crooked.
Doesn't even know what he's drinking. He's so drunk.
Today I'm definitely not drinking antifreeze.
Wait, which bottle was this? Clank, clank.
I regret putting the rat poison so close to the booze.
Tastes alright.